Okay, of my original fertility check birds, this is Powder and Stella, and after double check, they have only one embryo, but I'll take it. And I can foster a couple of others from somebody else's nest, and I will pair, they're both young birds, so I will pair them again next fall, and probably the spring after that. Once I get a good paired bonded, I like to breed them 3 times, so. Peabody is gone. This is now Luna back in here with Neptune, who is a fully fertile male fresh out of a mate, as she is. She still thinks she's bonded to somebody else, so it's going to take a little while, so they don't have a nest box on. Other fertility couples, this is Hephaestus, and his girl, who I feared couldn't lay eggs, has laid 3 eggs, and as you can see, her fertility check is coming up soon. Really hoping for fertility. This is, what's his name? This is Soul, the lacewing, and his little girl, Hestia. I took their nest box off because he was starting to do the fall in love with the nest box and not the cough thing. So I've been running into this a lot. These two here, I pulled her nest box. He was breaking her eggs, which tells me they weren't breeding. So she was just laying eggs. So I pulled the nest box. The eggs had all been destroyed anyway. And I pulled him for 24 hours and left her in there alone. I put a full block on her so she can't think she's in love with somebody else. And I'm going to leave him there. I want to see some breeding behavior before I give her the nest box back. This little girl down here, I pulled, this is Misty. I pulled, she looks like she's getting ready to lay another egg. I pulled her, the cock that she was in here with, and put this guy in here because I was afraid the other cock wasn't doing anything, and I was right, because she seduced this guy in 2 seconds. And they're actively breeding. So I took her nest box, but I just put a new one back on there again. It has no eggs in it because hers were all infertile. And now, see this stance that she's doing with her wings spread like that? This is stress. She's like, this is a new nest box. This isn't my nest box. What's going on here? So she's kind of freaking out a little bit, but she'll get past it. And he will help her get past it because they are now actively breeding. So I have 3 new pairs here. I cleaned out these cages and set them up since the 6 birds finally went. This is Apollo and Zinnia. Apollo and Zinnia. Zinnia thought she was in love with her father, so this is going to take a while. Again, I've been running into this whole hens falling in love with nest boxes instead of cocks and laying a bunch of infertile eggs without breeding. So I'm leaving them for several days. They're going to wake up with each other in the morning until the girls get used to them. Apollo's making all the appropriate moves. I just pulled him back in here after Hera, and he's acting like he never had a bonded mate in his life. Terrible playboy. But it serves my purposes, doesn't it? This is a new pairing. This hen, Snow, was matched with that beautiful yellow-faced male that got sick. She laid 2 eggs, and she laid 1 egg. I realized she was sick, and I pulled her and stuck her out in the flight cage. She laid 1 more egg after that, and then stopped. She's been out there for probably a couple of weeks now. So I put her back in. This is a new male that I got specifically for her. He's a single-factor spangled gray. I'm hoping to get some more double-factor whites out of him with fresh bloodline, because I do not inbreed. I do not line breed, which is a fancy way of saying inbreed. So I'm bringing new blood into this. He's standing up nice and straight now. He actually has a pretty good blow on his head. It's a little tight right now, but he can look very handsome when he wants. So, and these 2 are repaired again after total failure last year. She was in love with his brother and didn't want to breed with him, and did that whole lay a whole bunch of blank eggs without ever breeding a male. So they will stay in here until I see some sign that she recognizes him as a potential mate before they get a nest box. So that's what all of these guys, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cages in here with no nest box on them because I'm waiting to see some serious pairing happening before I give the hens the excuse to run off without the cocks. On a happier front, I know I have fertility in, this is Haverty and his girl Irini, and I know I have fertility in there and lots of it. This is malachite and lava, and I know I have fertility in there. I think the first 2 eggs were blank, but if they give me even 3 more, that's what I would have pulled them down to anyway. This is Prussian and marble, and their cull date's coming up, and she's sitting on 5, maybe 6 eggs by now, and I think they're all fertile. And this is Kobe and Lavender, and she's the same, 5 or 6 eggs. I think they're all fertile. So I'll have lots of babies to foster over here to this pair that only managed 1 fertile egg. These 2 are doing great. Now, I expected that because these 2 bred last fall. This is Winston and Sif. I had to pull Sif early because she started nibbling the down off of her babies, which is very different from plucking. Down nibbling and plucking are 2 different things. And what I discovered is that the calcium that I was giving them was burning their stomachs, and they eat their own down off the bars of the cage, and they nibble the down off of their babies because it helps to settle their stomachs. So she was one of the first ones that did it, so I pulled her, and I didn't discover it till later. But what the effect was is he ended up raising the chicks on his own. She was away way too early, and it broke their bond. But they know who each other are. She had started haunting him out in the flight cage, and they are moving right into business. He's already moved into the nest box, and they're loving on each other, and I expect good things out of these 2 without any problems. Being able to put together bonded pairs makes such a difference. These guys will be laying eggs a week, perhaps even 2 weeks before these newly placed pairs will make any response. So, and I don't know, I actually put these 2 in separate. These 2 were together last time. It didn't work out. She rejected him. But I put them in separate flight cages, so they haven't seen each other in 4 or 5 months. So I'm counting on that, kind of erasing their history. And as you can see, she's willing. Proximity is everything with these guys. The fact that she's willing to sit that close to him on the perch means she is already considering him as a mate. She's also alternating with this behavior, which is, I want to get out of this cage. I don't know who this guy is, and there's no nest box in here, and it's pissing me off. And that goes on for quite a little while. So, but she alternates. So these 2 may be showing me something. See how he pecks at her? That means he'd like to offer her some food, but he's not at all sure that she won't bite the hell out of him. So he's just kind of haunting her. He's like a mean boy on the playground that's like teasing her because he wants to see how close he can get to her without her attacking him. So he's playing respectful right now, and he's testing her boundaries. And she's not actively running away from him. So, see him? He sidles over a little closer, She has her back turned to him like, I can't see you, I don't know you're there. But of course she can, and she does. So they're kind of starting to have a conversation here. I've seen these guys do the same thing briefly. Apollo's experienced and he knows what's going on, and she's a newbie and has no clue. But Apollo's also coming off another relationship, so he's a little bonkers too. And this guy here is new to the flock. He's only been here for a few months out in the flight cage, but he's a pretty dignified guy. He's a 2017, and he's probably been around the block before. Whereas this girl is a year and a half old to his 2 years old. And she's been in here before, but she's never raised chicks because her eggs were blank. And I really need some babies out of this girl. So, but she's playing bonkers right now. There's Stella and Powder dusting themselves up. So she's on 5 eggs. I leave the blank ones in the nest because I don't want to disrupt her and make her feel like her nest has been robbed. If a hen is sitting on more than 6 eggs, I'll pull an egg because 7 is too many for them to keep around them. If you have a really tiny, petite hen, I keep it down at 5 because they have a hard time just keeping them all warm. But she has 5 eggs in there. 4 of them are blanks, but I'm not going to take those 4 blanks out because I would really disrupt her. She may even abandon the last egg. So instead, I'm going to leave her with all of them. And the other thing is, when the babies are tiny, it's better for them to have unhatched eggs around them because it helps keep mom off of them. So she doesn't accidentally squash them or whatever. So, but the other thing is, when it comes time to foster, I'm not going to be adding eggs to her nest that makes her suspicious. What I'm going to do is trade out an egg. So I'll chase her out of the nest, pull the nest box, turn my back to her so she can't see what I'm doing, and I'll pull a blank egg out and put a fertile egg in. And when I give it back to her, there will be the same number of eggs in there. And she'll be like, oh, okay, these are my eggs. Because yes, I think they can count. So yeah, you want to be as disruptive, as undisruptive as possible when a hen has a nest. So, and there's a lot of, I've done the whole, I have a lot of friends in the hobby that do the whole, moving chicks around, taking chicks out of one nest and putting them in another and that kind of thing. And what I've really found is that, that's really disruptive to the hens. People sit there, oh, they don't know the difference. They'll take any baby you give them. Well, just because they'll take any baby you give them and raise it doesn't mean they don't know that you just switched on them. Especially if you take an older chick. The first chick that hatches, the mother grows a huge bond to this baby. And it's the one that talks to her the most. They start talking to their chicks before they hatch out of the egg. And if you take that baby and put it in a different nest, she knows that that voice has gone silent, and she knows that you have raided her nest and stole one of her babies. So I have very, very tame birds because I treat them with a lot of respect. I don't hold them tight and scare them into thinking I'm going to crush them or keep them from being able to breathe. I do as little interventions as possible on them. The purpose of all this tape here is to remind me when I'm supposed to go in this nest and when I can leave it alone. And one of the things I found is, sometimes you have to switch babies around. Somebody gets sick and you got to redistribute babies because the parent can't care for them anymore, or they've got too many chicks and you have to foster one over. I prefer to foster eggs rather than babies. So what I'll do is, like, for instance, I have a hatch date for her. This baby it's her last egg, so it's going to hatch somewhere around the 16th, maybe to the 18th. I have a thing that says I have 1 embryo in there, and once I get these guys through their cold date, I'll have it say their hatch date for the first egg and how many embryos they've got, and then I can start watching. So I'll leave extra embryos in here. Instead of culling her down to 3, I'll leave a 4th one. And then I'll look at which one's going to hatch closest to her hatch date. And then I'll wait. She'll hatch out 1 egg. She'll hatch out another egg. She'll hatch out another egg. When she got 3 live chicks in there, I'll take that last egg 2 days before it's going to hatch and put it over here. That way she starts talking to that baby before it hatches out. And she really is comfortable that it's hers and I haven't raided her nest. On the other hand, if I leave 4 eggs in here and by some chance one of the babies doesn't hatch out, I will leave all 3 embryos in there with their original mama and take one out of this nest instead. I freeze embryos when I have too many. I never have more than 3 chicks in a nest. I think maybe next fall I'm going to try fostering. So at the end of this breeding season, I'm going to collect some regular parakeets, quarantine the hell out of them to make sure they don't bring anything into it, and then next fall I'll set them up as fosters. But for right now, when I get too many live embryos, I cull nest, meaning I take the youngest embryos out of the nest and put them in the freezer. I do that because in case there's some, level of cognizance inside whatever's in the egg. I just want it to be over with quickly. And these little tiny eggs will freeze solid in a few minutes. So yeah, the transferring babies around, they'll do it, but don't think that they don't know that you haven't messed with their babies. Don't think that they don't know that there's a stranger in their nest. She'll feed it because her hormones tell her to feed it. I've also found, because I keep my families together and move them out back into the flights with their babies, and both of the parents along with them, it's very obvious that when you foster a chicken there, the hen knows it's not really hers, and once you put them out there, she drops it like a hot potato. And the chick ends up wandering off to someplace else. So, in other words, she especially, the cocks not so much, but the hens especially, will stop caring for a foster chick once it's out of the nest, because she knew all along it wasn't really hers. She was just doing it out of hormonal imperative, you know? So, yeah, these birds are way more cognizant of what's going on than people give them credit for. And I think being respectful of that is one of the reasons my birds are so tame and so easy to handle, even though I don't train them. It's because they trust me. I love watching these two. He says, I am so awesome. Don't you agree I'm awesome, Missy? She says, I think you're full of beans. You better give me gifts. Give me gifts. Okay, all right. You must be okay. More gifts. Prove you're going to take care of me. Prove you're going to take care of our babies. All right. These hens are holding out for something. So, these two were going along gangbusters, but I pulled Peabody and his hen out from the cage next door and put two different birds in there, and now it's kind of disruptive in the middle. The hen looks a little stressed. The cock not so stressed because he knows the birds in the next cage over, but she's a little bit worried. She's new to the flock, so she doesn't necessarily belong, if you will. So she's having a little harder time adapting, but I think she'll be fine. She just needs a few more days. She is in the box. Let's see how many of them beautiful little eggs we got in here. Ooh, 5 pretty ones. She says, get out of my box. I'm still waiting for Bubby Jr. and Blanca to lay their first egg. She's in the box, but the first egg hasn't come yet. And this girl, this is Lemony and Pewter. I almost called him Storm because he looks so much like his father. Lemony and Pewter, I don't know what the heck Lemony's doing. She could take years. But they're getting along. They love, kiss, kiss. See that? I always think that's funny. They go kiss, kiss, and then one of them puts their head down and says, here, love me. And the other one's like, no, you have to do it to me. See him? They are developing quite the bond, which she had a really bad time last year. She would not bond to any male, and then the male that was with her tried to kill all of her babies, and she ended up with one foster baby raising it on her own. And she's just really hesitant to move forward. But it's going to happen because he's acting like he's breeding her. Did you see him almost step up onto her wing? He's feeding her. They're fat, they're sassy, they're hanging out. There's no manic behavior happening here because I put this up so she can't really mess with the neighbors all the time. So I think we're finally going to get there. But geez, it has taken forever. Okay, I think that's about it right now.